Good morning, everybody. This is Terry with Gateway to Counseling. Welcome to the Ask Terry Show. I am running just a little late this morning. Believe it or not, I've been up since around 6:30, 6:45, doing a ton of work that I needed to do this morning before I came on to the show. So anyway, today's question is, can you help my family and I work as a team? I think that's a great question because you see that things are not quite going right. I don't know exactly who this is, if it's a male or a female, believe it or not. I don't know, but I'm guessing it's a female. Because as women, we tend to do most of the work in the family, don't we? I don't know about you guys, but I was raised old school, which is that, the women cook and they clean and they wait on people. And I have to really fight that battle. When I was married, even when my family all come over to my home, I find myself doing all the cooking, all the preparation. Then everybody is here, and then I'm doing all the cleaning, and I'm still baking, and I'm doing this, and I'm running around like crazy. And so I've had to make decisions that people are going to have to help, right? So how can you work as a team in your family? First, I think you have to decide within yourself that you're not going to be the person to do all the work. I struggle with that. So this is not something that I'm good at myself, but I've had to make a conscious decision that I am not going to do all the work. Like, everybody's sitting around watching TV, playing cards, playing dominoes, shooting pool, and I'm downstairs cleaning. So I've told my family, from now on, this is how it's going to work, right? So if you have yourself, your spouse, and 2, 3 kids, everybody needs to have some chores of what they are going to do on a daily, weekly basis, right? And yes, you might have to remind them. You might have to post it on the refrigerator. But for example, who's washing dishes on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? Who's taking out the trash on Mondays and Thursdays? Who's going to bring the trash can back inside? Right? Believe it or not, you got to tell them that. Who's going to be responsible for, helping to wash the clothes and fold the clothes, those kind of things. What are the chores in the home that need to be done? I'm guessing that mother, father, kids, you guys, Monday through Friday, you're getting up early in the morning, you're rushing around, you're getting out the house. I don't know if anybody brings lunch anymore, but maybe you got to make the lunches. Maybe you do that the night before. If you're making lunches, make it a family task and do it the night before. Let the kids be involved in that process. I think they would enjoy it, to be quite honest. But then in the morning, you guys are running around, and then you're off to the races, and you're in school, and you're at work. And then you come back home, and everybody's exhausted. So learn some different little tricks, like don't come home and have to cook, or don't have to cook a full meal. Again, on Sunday, maybe instead of just cooking one meat, you cook 3. You have a double oven. That's easy to do on a stovetop. I would definitely put at least one thing in the oven, maybe one thing in a crock pot, right? So that you have 3 different meats going on at the same time on Sunday. And then on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all you're doing is adding your sides, okay? And that's really easy to do, right? If you're eating healthy like me, I just put together a salad and put it with whatever meat that I cooked earlier in the week. My nephew was saying to me the other day, wow, we have a lot of food. I said, yeah, because I'm not cooking all week, right? So you want to get them in the habit of starting to do some of the things around the house by giving them some tasks, giving them some chores to do, right? What is their assigned day to do dishes? What is their assigned day? And then when you guys come home from school or from work, then everybody knows what needs to be done. If your kids are older and they're home from school before you get home from work, you should be able to pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, it's 4 o'clock. What homework do you have today? What chore do you have today? Oh, isn't today the day that you have to vacuum and clean the bathrooms? Right? And just remind them in a kind way that this is what they need to do today. So that when you get home from work, you and your spouse, then things are pretty much in order, right? Hopefully there's not, sports equipment sitting in the foyer, right? It's where it needs to go. And then you just have to go to your room, de-stress, take 30 minutes to wind down, right? Because we all need that. And you can even put that in the schedule, guys, that from 5 to 6 or 6 to 6:30 is wind down time. Everybody has their own individual wind down time. And then dinner can be served at 6:30, right? And then you can maybe have some family time at dinner. Guys, please, when we're trying to work together as a team, we have to be a team. That means we have to communicate with each other. That means that I have no idea how long I've been talking. I forgot to set my timer. I'm so sorry. But you have to sit down together and have meals together, right? And I'm not saying you have to have every meal every day, although I think if you have little kids that you should do that. I had a little girl tell me one time, she lives with her grandparents, and her and her brother's a little bit older than her, and she was really angry, and the grandfather told me that she had gone and ripped up some things and destroyed some of their things, right? And I got to talking to her, and I was like, okay, so tell me what happened before you destroyed people's items. And she said, oh, I was sitting at the table. And I said, oh, okay, what were you doing at the table? And she said, I was eating spaghetti. I said, oh, you were eating spaghetti? She said, yeah, I was eating by myself. I said, oh, was the spaghetti good? And she said, yeah, but I didn't finish eating it. And I said, well, why? And she said, well, I just didn't want to eat it anymore. I just went to my room. I said, well, where was everyone else? Grandpa was sitting in his chair, watching TV, and Grandma was in the room, and her brother was in his room and playing video games, and she was eating all by herself. And she got really sad. And so after she got sad, she got mad. and got some attention, didn't she? So, sit down together. If your kids are under the age of 10, please sit down together and have a meal. It only takes 30 minutes of your day. Put the cell phones away. When you are sitting at dinner with your family and you're on your cell phone the whole time, it tells that person that they're not important, that they're not the most important person, that it's whatever is on the other side of that cell phone that is more important. I was out having brunch the other day. I was trying to eat something before a meeting, and I was just at Denny's, and I wanted some pancakes, and I saw a couple come in, and they looked really happy when they came in. They were laughing and jolly, and they sat down, and as soon as they sat down, she took out her cell phone, and her head dropped, and she went to being on that cell phone. And her husband, significant other, whoever he was just looking at her. And he looked at her for maybe a couple of minutes, and she never raised her head, guys. Never raised her head. And so then he took out his cell phone and started being on his cell phone. And they both were on their cell phones for over 5 minutes. Yeah, I'm watching. I'm an observant person, right? I'm a therapist. And so, and then at some point she saw something on her cell phone that was funny, and she wanted to share it with them. So she raises her head and she looks up, and he's on his cell phone and he's not looking at her. So she kind of looks at him for about maybe 20, 30 seconds. She puts her head back down, raises back up again, looks again, and then she kind of just waited, right, for him to finally raise his head. And then she shared something with them, and then they both put their heads back down. Guys, That is not how you build a team. That is not how a husband and wife can build a happy marriage. That's not how you can build a happy home, by being so distracted by other things. Turn off the TV, have mealtime. It might be the only time that you guys have really together all day. But if you say to your child, you're important to me, then your child will feel important, and then they will want to be important. Does that make sense? And then praise them for what they're doing. Women, praise your husbands when they do a chore correctly. Does that make sense? We want to applaud them for what they're doing that's right. Because all of us need that. Don't you want it too? Don't you want someone to say, oh, Mom, you made really great spaghetti tonight. I know we have spaghetti every Tuesday, but I really love it. I mean, don't we want that, right? And so, or just, thank you, Mom, for cooking dinner today. Or, Mom, I know you had a hard day at work. Thank you. You know, we can say that to our husbands, right? Honey, I know that it was a really hard day for you at work today. Thank you for remembering to do this chore today. That means a lot to me. And then he feels loved. He feels appreciated. He feels respected. And you will feel the same way. And it will make so much happiness in your home, so much peace in your home. So I'm looking at the time. All right. So we're about to wind down. All I'm going to say, guys, is if you want your family to work as a team, you have to give some direction and guidance. You have to give some reminders, and you have to give a lot of praise. And then last but not least, you have to let your family know how much you love them, how much you need their assistance in running a successful home. Okay? Alrighty. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I will talk to you again tomorrow. I will see you on the other side. Bye-bye.